Evening everybody and welcome back to the Celtic Way post-match briefing with myself, Ryan McGinley, and Tony Haggerty. Tony, how are you doing? You all good?
Very well, yourself? Very pleased after that. Celtic into the last 8 and drawing Livingston in the quarter-final of the Scottish Cup. So excellent home tie as well. So pleased about everything about today.
It feels like there's been a lot of victories today. You know, any crisis talks that were there have been dispelled, and I made note of that in the headline of this video. Crisis? What crisis? Celtic get a clean sheet at St Mirren Park. A happy hunting ground that it's been recently, actually. But yeah, 2-0 goals from Kygo and enticing Maeda in each half. Made it quite a comfortable win in all honesty. There's some really good performances today. You know, we could talk about the captain, we could talk about some of the makeshift defenders that were in today. And we'll get into talking about all of that. But first of all, can we thank MPH Group, as always, for sponsoring our videos. If you're looking for plumbing, heating, kitchens or bathroom work, then please look no further than MPH Group. All the links will be in the description, and Navien Boilers are associated with them also. And if you enjoy what we do, please visit www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe for more information. £4 for 4 months, £18 for the year. We've got instant analysis from Tony. We've got player ratings from myself. We've also got the Q&A, the Brendan Rodgers Q&A. That's available on the website. So if you're looking for your daily fix of Celtic content, then look no further than the Celtic Way at celticway.co.uk. Tony, 2-0. Celtic are through to the next round, the quarterfinals. They'll play Livingston at home. What did you make of that game as a whole?
I actually thought Celtic were very comfortable. I've been kind of scanning online and social media, and lots of people saying St Mirren were very good, but I thought Celtic's game management was excellent. I thought Callum McGregor was excellent. That pass was Paul McStay-esque to Palmer for the first goal. That's
I'll have to take your word for it.
That's as high praise I can give him, for that. But it was an excellent pass and just a brilliant execution. Palmer, early ball in, Kyogo first time shot. And Brendan Rodgers was asked about the so-called crisis. 8 wins and a draw in the last 9. Granted, he said the fluency hasn't been there at times. He spoke about the rhythm on Friday as well. And I think people have to realise as well, Celtic have been without a lot of their star players for quite a lot of majority of the season. That's a makeshift back four. 3 starters are out with that back four. Taylor, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Alistair Johnston.
It's big. That's a spine. Defensive spine of the team.
So today you come to a side who traditionally put you under pressure by playing 2 big guys up front and throw balls into the box, crosses into the box. I thought Welsh and skills were excellent, dealt with everything. Joe Hart again, coming up with big saves when he has to. I think Joe Hart's just kind of like, if this is to be my last season, I'm going out in a high. Yeah. I want a silver lining, I want medals.
It's the farewell tour, isn't it, almost?
So there's a lot to be pleased about. Kyogo back in the score sheet. Adamida and Kyogo playing in the same team. It was an option. Maeda scoring, after Matt O'Reilly played the 1-2 off the bar with him. The South Korean boys coming back from the Asian Cup duty, bit by bit, the picture is not as bleak as people are making out in terms of, the last 3 performances were below par, but that was much improved today. And when they were much improved, I thought they were comfortable, Ryan. I don't know if you share that, but I thought Celtic's game management today was great.
I thought out with maybe 10 minutes. Collectively, 10 minutes of the game as a whole in the 90 minutes, I thought Celtic were in control for most of the game. They had that control. There wasn't the basketball sort of element to the game, which was good, or which wasn't good in the past couple of games against Aberdeen and Hibs, respectively. Celtic always seemed to be in control of this game. I know that St Mirren had a couple of really good chances. Gogic, I think, was our best striker on the day. That overhead kick, good save from Joe Hart, as we've discussed on various platforms already. But yeah, they had that. They had the control of the game, I thought, for the 90 minutes. I thought they were comfortable in everything that they were doing. I think that helps, though. It helps when Callum McGregor is having a good performance. Yeah. We singled him out for praise, both in the instant analysis and the player ratings, but I thought it was just a real Captain Marvel performance. Captain fantastic, whatever sort of adjective you want to use to describe the captain. But I thought he was outstanding today. I didn't think O'Reilly was as good today, but McGregor did that job for the pair of them. His industry was brilliant. Yes, it's a thankless task what Callum McGregor does game by game, because sometimes he's having to carry a couple of players for his defensive work.
Yeah.
But I thought that secondary assist for Lewis Palmer, who then crosses the ball to Kyogo, I hope that doesn't get lost, and I don't think it will, because a lot of people are talking about it.
It can't get lost.
And Palmer's assist is a good one. That pass is something that, you look at players down south, that was something that De Bruyne or Rodri or Declan Rice or whoever, they would be proud of, that sort of pass from midfield to attacker, midfield to wing, and he really did make that goal happen, didn't he?
Definition of a defence splitter, splitting a kind of team asunder, just looking up vision, clarity of vision, execution, being able to actually execute a pass. Like, it's all right seeing a pass, like how many passes are well intended, don't quite reach the target. It was a pinpoint, 15 minutes, bang, Celtic are 1 up. And from then on, I didn't think Celtic were going to lose the game, Ryan. I felt pretty comfortable. I know St Mirren had flurries, but I just felt that they were in control. Like Aberdeen, when they came back and to make it 1 each, I didn't think there was an element of control in that game. Always felt Celtic there was an element of control about them today. Stood up to a really good test. Brendan Rodgers made a good point that they've had 3 difficult away games and they've come through them all. Okay, they drew with Aberdeen. He's still smart because he said they should have won at Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm.
Probably thinks that's fair enough. But I was seeing, if you want to talk about it, I mean, I know it's kind of lots of green shoots of recovery.
Yep.
If there was something to recover, because they're still winning football matches, and if they're winning football matches when they're not firing on all cylinders, then, as the manager himself said, they are all in for this league championship and this Scottish Cup. And
the double is on. Yeah, that's what they want.
Yeah, and I think that he showed a wee prickly side today, Brendan Rodgers, saying about the narrative that's been coming down on him and these players. I like that.
Yeah,
I love that fighting talk from Brendan Rodgers. And you just know that he's a knowledgeable man. He's scanning the room and probably thinking, you guys aren't exempt in this criticism that I'm dishing out here as well, so...
He didn't say that, but he went...
That's the dot
yeah,
to it, isn't it?
He kind of left, I think he left the media to their... He left the media to their own devices to decide who they were talking about, that outside narrative coming in, about crisis talks or about unrest or whatever. But
as we know, he's an avid fan of the Celtic way, Ryan, because he played... started with Adamida and Kyogo, so... That's
a good segue, Tony. I like it. That's what we were going to talk about, yeah. So Kyogo...
He always gives me a name check whenever I ask him a question. He always calls me Tony, which I find quite courteous.
Yeah, that's in the video as well, I'm sure. Adamida and Kyogo starting up front for the first time together. I know they've had game time respectively together in games, in the Aberdeen game and in the Hibs game, and they have shown some green shoots of something potentially happen. How did you think that those two performed as a collective, not individually with Kyogo's goal, but collectively? How do you think they matched up?
It's funny because I think in the past 2 games, and I mentioned it in my instant analysis, Brendan Rodgers has inadvertently discovered something in the past 2 games. He's discovered that Adam Mead is a penalty taker, right? He's also a handful up front, and when he was involved, he was causing problems, right? He wasn't involved enough for me, but I think he's realised Kyogo's actually a very good number 10. He was just shunting that ball about, right, left and centre in the first half, and first time. And I turned to you and said, Kyogo's doing this first time, and then I put the commentator's cursor on, didn't I? He shunted it out of the park, and we were killing yourself laughing.
It was such a Tonyism, honestly.
But
you jinxed him.
There were times when he was, I think his word, there were times when he was head and shoulders above the others. He was just, again, I refer to, I've spoken about before, snooker players in the park, they're about 2 or 3 moves ahead. Matt O'Reilly's got it at times, but Kyogo was doing that in the number 10, and I really liked him in there. And I think if you add up his touches today, there's probably more touches in this game today than he's had since we reconvened after the break, right?
Got to keep him involved, yeah. He's got to be involved, yeah.
And see when that ball comes across like that, only one thing in his mind, he's a striker, you don't lose that instinct to bang the ball into the back of the net. And he's hammered it, all right, might get a bit of good forcing go through some players like, but it's on target, it's gone in the net. And I think that's a relief for Kyogo more than anything else, because he was like, I'm having a good game there. That's put the kind of tin lid on a decent, certainly first half performance. And then when Adam went off, he sort of led the line. But I was delighted to see him be in that role, but also perform in that role. Right? Sorry, putting you in that role, but you've got to perform. And he turned up. He was involved, and he wanted to get involved, and he seemed to be relishing it and liked it. And obviously, scored a cracking opening goal.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were sharing Tottenham's goal yesterday as a prime example of the football that we loved to watch over the past 2 years under Ange Postecoglou. And I'm sorry to bring up the former manager, but that overlapping winger, crossing at the box, Brennan Johnson, who is a winger, he was on the end of that. I'm not saying it was the same today, but it was like going back in time almost to the sort of good football, because it was good wing play from Palmer. It's like a cut and pass from the captain, Callum McGregor, a good cross, and then Kygo takes the ball first time. It beats a couple of bodies and then in the back of the net. But it's just these wee shoots of recovery that we've needed to see over the past couple of weeks. And, there's been a lot of doom and gloom talking about Celtic at the moment, but I think there was positives today. And I'm not discounting any of the poor performances, because they've been and gone. But you need to discuss football as it is in this moment. And I thought Celtic were, on the whole, pretty good today.
When moves like that are executed properly, that you can't defend against them now. It's impossible to defend against. And St Mirren are a good side. Steve Armstrong got them playing well. That was a right up and at them performance today. St Mirren fancy their chances. Most teams now, think there's a vulnerability about Celtic and they're having a go. I get that. But I think today, Celtic turned up today and showed a wee bit of mettle today, a bit of mental fortitude. That fighting spirit that the manager was talking about as well. And with a makeshift team, players playing out of position, you can include Kygo and that. But they stepped up to the plate today because they had a point to prove today, I think. Because they're human beings after all. They hear, they don't exist in a vacuum. They hear the criticism, they read the criticism, and most players will be on social media, won't they? So, they don't seek it out, but I'm sure they're completely aware of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And even Brendan Rodgers, who said he wasn't on social media, but he's got people that are on social media for him so that they report back, because he needs to know what's going on. Players, as you said, they aren't robots. They're prone to human error, and they're prone to feeling the criticism when it's been directed their way. But they deserve praise when praise is being earned, and it certainly was today. I thought it was a really controlled performance. Celtic just took the wind out of St Mirren's sails with the 2 goals. Perfect timing. St Mirren did have chances in the game. We need to talk about Gogic's chance, the overhead kick that Joe Hart does really well to save. Joe Hart also had a couple of really good punches out of the box. Good. That's, if you can't hold it and throw it out of the box or save it with both hands, then the next best thing is to punch it clear. And Joe Hart certainly did that in today's game. Numerous occasions. And it shows that he's not getting bullied, and he maybe was getting bullied earlier on in the season when he was getting pushed about by defenders. That isn't happening as much anymore, and that's maybe his confidence has returned.
Yeah, and also as well, the manager alluded to the fact that the conditions were difficult, so he made a conscientious decision to be commanding and just get it away from the danger area as quickly as possible. Lots of players were slipping. You noticed that too. A couple of players slipped, certainly. I
thought there was going to be one in particular. When Bernabe slipped, and I was like, that could be a goal coming, because we've spoke about it.
Bernabe's luck as well, if that happens.
I know, because he can go and beat 5 players, and then the next he has a slip when nobody's there contesting them. And the way that Celtic's luck has been recently with mistakes that they make, 9 times out of 10 it seems as if Celtic get punished for those mistakes, and Celtic maybe don't punish their opposition for making those same mistakes. Sometimes they're a bit too nice, but there was no problem with that today. They kept a clean sheet as well. I know goal difference doesn't mean a thing in cup football, but you can never get too many clean sheets, can you?
No, I think that the beach course. I tell you also what I liked the look of Owen Yang when he came on too.
Especially Yang. Had a chance at the end. He should have done better, but Yang cut in a couple of times. But
it was something a bit different, wasn't it? And you're thinking, okay, if we can, collate the sum of these parts between now and the end of the season, then I don't think we're in bad a position as we actually thought. And the manager was talking about that too, getting, pivotal players back. And so, you best believe that, this team want to retain their Scottish Premiership trophy and Scottish Cup trophy. So, and they're up for this something damnable, as your mother and father would say, but they are, and I saw that today, and I saw that today with a team who, with the best will in the world, when everybody is fit, that wouldn't be the team. But they went out there today and they proved a point at a very difficult venue, tricky conditions, tricky tie, and I thought they've come away with that with their heads held high and a display where there was elements of large spells of control. You can't ask for anything more. A clean sheet that you've said as well, goalkeeper playing his part, your two central defenders playing their part.
Tick.
Even people saying Bernabeu was, Bernabeu's just erratic, isn't he?
He's definitely going to split opinion.
Yeah,
he's a sort of player that I think a lot of people will hone in on his faults, and people will hone in on his positives. You need to find a balance when you're talking about Bernabeu.
Some very good things, but you also look at him and think, my goodness, what are you up to?
We were speaking in the game. We were like, we've never watched a player like this play for Celtic before. That can do so many good things, but it's probably the reason why he wasn't in Ange Postecoglou's team is because he's so erratic on the ball, and he can. Every pass is an adventure. Every touch is an adventure, because sometimes his first touch isn't there either. But he's interesting, and I was struggling to write about Tony Ralston in the first half because it seemed like all of the full-back action was going to Bernabeu.
Yeah.
That's because, and they probably had the same amount of the ball, or near enough the same amount. It's just you remember more in Bernabeu because it seems as if the spotlight is on him when he's playing. I thought he was okay today. People were happy with his performance on Wednesday. I thought it was up and down. I thought it was up and down in this game as well. But there's wee green shoots of recovery. There could be something there.
I was happier with his display today than I was on Wednesday. So that gives you an indication of how I felt he played on Wednesday. I was happier today. He's one of those players that will polarise opinion, but he doesn't have to get wired in, and he just doesn't let any negativity affect him at all.
That's important, and that's good for the left and the right back as well. Yeah. Both of the backup left and right, and I feel bad calling them backups, but they are, when everybody's fit, they probably are second choice, Ralston and Bernabeu. But you cannot fault their effort and their graft whenever they step on that pitch, or whatever pitch that they step on, home or away. You know you're going to get 100%. I'm not going to say 110, 120. You can't get that. It doesn't exist. But they give the full. They give the full effort, and I know effort's a prerequisite, but at the same time that isn't always the case, and they are trying their hardest.
I think what we learned today is that we know there's the perceived problems off the field and all that, but it's a very powerful collective. Getting behind the team and the manager and the players, they will produce. These players are want to produce for the supporters, and they've got a manager who, that was fighting talk for Brendan Rodgers today. He was just like, I'm aware of this, you think we're a bad team, and also there's a narrative trying to bring Celtic down and myself down. Also casting aspersions of him as, well, let's cut to the chase, as an elite level manager. I've always said he's an elite level manager, and I've said in these last few games, in the title run in and in the Scottish Cup run, we will find out how elite he is as a manager.
See if he makes the big bucks.
Yes, it's just how he earns the salary that he does, and he will come to the fore. And there was an element of that today when he spoke down and he sat. He was just sort of saying there, there's always pressure on you to win at Celtic, but you have to win in a certain style and in a certain way. They hadn't been doing that recently. Today was a step towards, hopefully by the end of the season, they do recover that kind of winning style, swashbuckling, all separate, rolling free scoring, never boring way. But certainly today they were in control of their destiny today. At no point did I think they were heading out the cup and it was going to get away from them, despite the fact that some of them had flurries. But they dealt with it really well. That's what pleased me most. Clean sheet will please Brendan most again. And another person who also stepped up was Stephen Welsh, for me, who just keeps giving the manager kind of food for thought when all your central defenders are fit. I mean, he limped off and he was supposed to be, that's him out for another period of time. So I was more than surprised to see him when he started 11 today. But he's got a great spring. when he leaps for a ball in the air, he contests every ball.
Not the tallest defender,
No,
but he's getting much like Carter Vickers, he's got a good leap.
He's got a great knack of getting in a block, a tackle or a block at the right moment. And whilst he might get hustled and bustled by strong centre forwards like St Mirren had today, he's not easily knocked off the ball. He's pretty aggressive. When he's contesting these things, and we won his fair share. And have to commend him today. I thought he was pretty good today.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Leo Labada, but we'll probably talk about that more tomorrow on the morning briefing. Yeah. I think tomorrow's a better place to discuss Leo Labada and just the ongoing situation. Once we've heard more about what's going on, basically, I think we've got a rough idea of what's going on, but it's an unfortunate situation. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we wrap this up? Because we are in St Mirren's media room. It has been a couple of hours after the game is finished, and we don't want to be holding.
We're at the mercy of a man coming into the room to kick us out, but he very kindly said we could do the broadcast, so we thank St Mirren for that. Hence the sponsorship boards and all that behind us, as you can see. But yeah, that's the table that Brendan Rodgers spoke at not that long ago, and Stephen Welsh. Mm-hmm. I think, Stephen Welsh was a player coming as well. So, yeah, all good. No, but yeah, just delighted with the attitude today, the display and the spirit that was shown. Last day, home tie against Livingston, decent enough draw. Celtic might probably fancy their chances of booking a return to Hampden. You take the game on its merit, and we'll talk about that when the time comes. It's in March, isn't it, I believe? So we'll speak about that more when the time comes. But no, I'm just happy today, Ryan, that Celtic saw off a very difficult challenge in the cup today.
And I think one of the final things to say is that there wasn't any stress about watching Celtic today. There has been a bit of stress recently watching the way that Celtic play, because the games always seem to be in the balance. This one never felt like it was in the balance. It always felt as if Celtic had the control and the momentum in the game. They did. The home side did have a flurry, and timed flurries, maybe 2 or 3 in the game, in which they had good chances, but good defending from Welsh and Scales, good goalkeeping from Joe Hart, good counter-attacking from Celtic, made sure that they're in the hat for the next round. Favourable draw against Livingston, you would say, not to discredit the opponents whatsoever, but a home draw. Take a home draw against anybody, to be honest. But yeah, that's you feel as if Celtic have been rewarded that draw, thanks to they went away to St Mirren, on paper the hardest draw for one team for another, apart from maybe the ups and downs of the leagues, maybe like a League One playing a championship, or the Airdrie Hearts. But it was Premiership v Premiership. Celtic got through it unscathed, no injuries, more game time for players, and yeah, now it's 6 days until the Kilmarnock game at home, and we'll look forward to that as it comes. But any final thoughts before we go off?
Yeah, just a thoroughly professional job today, I thought, by both the manager and the players, and that's more like it, Celtic, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to everybody that's joined us in the comments. I'm sorry we couldn't bring up more comments, but like we said, we're at the mercy of the people who are in charge here, and we didn't want to push our luck too much. But we thank you everybody that's got in the comments section. If you've enjoyed this video, enjoyed the pre-match video as well as all the morning briefings, why not subscribe? It's completely free. You'll get notifications when we go live with pre-recorded and live videos. Tony, I'm sure you've subscribed. I've subscribed. So why don't you guys subscribe, please? It would really help us. We're at 9.2k at this point in time. We're trying to get to 10k. Trying to make it 10 for about April time.
Perfect 10.
Yeah, hopefully for a perfect 10 on beautiful South, I think that was. But yeah, thank you to MPH for sponsoring this video, as always. Their links will be in the description. Plumbing, heating, kitchens and bathroom work. We will be live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Hamish will be back on the channel to discuss this game, as well as some of the wider stories surrounding Celtic. But until then, guys, have a really good rest of your weekend, and we will speak to you all tomorrow. Cheers, guys.